Yes. Boy, there's not a dry eye in the house right now. So you bring to mind the people that love you. The ones that love you unconditionally or all conditionally, under any circumstance. They see the best in you. They want to uphold you and support you and raise you up and love you no matter what. Now, think of those people right now. If there's one person or there's several who have loved you in that way. And know that this thing that we call God, this energy and spirit that we call God, our source, is all of that love. Is all of that which continuously and constantly is extending that loving, caring energy to us. In every way. In every moment. And there's no opposite to that love. And the only way that we can see that love and feel it and experience it is through faith. Because in this world we experience the opposite of love. We experience two things. We experience the times where people aren't so loving. They're perhaps attacking you actively. Perhaps they're acting out of their own hurt and pain. And passing that on in their experience, in their relationship with you. Perhaps we see that type of anger and that type of violence continued out in the world, where human beings are hurting and killing one another for no reason at all. And so the important thing to remember is that all is temporary. We are growing out of that type of consciousness of separation, and we're growing into the truth of love. And that's going to take us using our power of faith, employing our power of faith to make it happen. Not to make it happen in reality, for in reality it's already that way, but to make it happen for us, we have to employ our spiritual powers. One of our spiritual powers is the power of faith. That's the one I want to talk about today. Because trusting in spiritual principles and living by divine law is going to require mastering the fine art of faith. And I call it a fine art because we can't see the whole picture from each point where we are. We have to have faith in the vision of the whole picture that Spirit is giving us. What did West call it? Our divine intuition. That's how God speaks to us. Well, that's really true. And we can allow that faculty to expand and grow through faith. So we can't see the whole picture through our limited perceptions, but we have an intuition that it's true. We have a deep feeling in our hearts that that is true, that there is only love, that life is eternal, that we are one. And all the greater truths that we talk about here on a daily basis, we have to make it a reality for ourselves. It's not enough to know perceptually, conceptually, that it is real, that it is true. Many of us don't believe that anyway, so we need evidence of it. And that's where faith comes in, is that it's going to make it real for us. We're going to have an experience of it. And so truth can be seen and experienced on a consistent basis when we're coming from faith rather than fear. Does that make sense? Does anybody agree with that? That we can just replace our fear with faith? So if we're going to do that, we have to remember that we're a work in progress. It's been said that you are allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time, simultaneously. It's going on simultaneously. Because the masterpiece is the wholeness of you, the perfection of you, the Christ in you. That's already what you are. But you're covering that over with an ego, with a story of a personality that's separate. And what you're defending is that personality, that ego. And you're defending it through a lot of things that hurt you. Most of all, we're defending a version of a story about what the world is and what we are that's not true. And we have to have faith in the truth. The concept of faith traditionally, it's characterized more like a noun, a thing you possess. It's a quality or a quantity that's bestowed upon you by a benevolent God. We use terms like, if I only had enough faith, or dear God, grant me the faith. Or perhaps you say to someone else, your faith just wasn't strong enough. I heard that when I was younger in the church. When I said, I was praying for healing and my friend didn't get healed or I didn't get healed. Your faith just wasn't strong enough. Oh, that's pretty bad. Or how about keep the faith? Just keep the faith. Or the worst of all, brother, you have no faith. So I think it's probably going to be a little more practical and beneficial if we use the approach that faith is an intrinsic spiritual power. And I think we can also use both. It's a both and. If there was ever a both and situation, I think this is one of them. Because, yes, you have to have faith in an unfailing power outside of yourself that we call God, that's in everything. That's in the plants and the trees and the air and the birds and the ocean and the fish, in the water and in the food that we eat. We have to have faith that it's going to take care of us, that we are taken care of by this universal force that we call love. We have to have faith in that. But the other part of it that is often missing is the idea that faith is a spiritual power within us. I often say divine presence within us and all around us. I think it's always both and. It's both sides and it's so much more. It's more than we can possibly imagine. But we have to be able to keep stepping out of this limited perception. This limited perception of faith can limit our ability to use it. That's all it does. It doesn't limit the power of the universe, the power of God. It just limits our ability to use this thing we call faith. So, I believe this might be a more practical approach to where we stand now, to accept faith as an intrinsic spiritual power. It's more like a verb. It's an action, like love is a verb. Love is an action. Okay, so there's something waiting for us on the other side of that action. When we take an action in faith, when we take an action, we're saying, I believe this is true. I know this is true. I'm not just believing it. I am certain that God is love and only love. And therefore, I can do this. I can step out and pray in confidence for your healing. I can step out and act in confidence that we are growing spiritually. I can step out and act in confidence because something inside me tells me that it's true. Something within me tells me that I have a power that I can employ, and it's the power of faith. In the spiritual world, the more you attempt to hold on to something, the less you have. When we're holding on to our ideas, the less awareness we have of the truth. And so the more you accumulate about how much you think you know about what's going on around here, the less you have of true knowledge and the smaller you become. or the smaller your awareness of your true self becomes. The larger your ego, the smaller your awareness. It's not that your true self has gone anywhere, it's just you're cutting off your awareness of it. And so you're not using it, you're not manifesting it in the world. So the natural flow of the universe is to expand. It's to give itself away. It's increased by giving. So the fine art of faith is learning to be creative in our giving. Realizing that we are always giving and expanding spiritual energy, even if it's disguised as physical matter. You got that one? It often is disguised as physical matter, but it's really spiritual energy. That's why we fill up the box in the foyer and bring it to the Veterans Food Pantry or the Yarmouth Food Pantry. That's why we support groups that are helping others in our community. That's why we tithe to those organizations that feed us spiritually. Because we are actually increasing the spiritual energy. And so we're using our power of faith. We're saying, I know good is going to come of this because it was given out of the goodness of my heart. It was given from the good that I received. So I'm giving good. I'm not giving for a result. I'm not giving out of guilt. I'm not giving because I have to or somebody told me to. I'm giving because when I give, I increase the spiritual substance in my life and in our community. And so that's why I give. Charles Fillmore defined faith in a variety of ways, but most importantly for me, from the Revealing Word, he says, faith is the perceiving power of the mind linked with the ability to shape substance. You have the ability to shape substance. We always say that however you're experiencing life, your life is your responsibility, not anyone else's. And when you cease giving everyone else the power over you in your life to shape your life, you start shaping that substance of your life. And it's so much fun. It's the greatest adventure there is. What good can I do today? I have a little plaque in our house that I look at every day. It says, do something great today. So I'm not here just to be mediocre. I'm here to do something great today. I'm here to increase the spiritual substance, to see that world powerfully transformed by the growing movement of our shared spiritual awakening. I'm actually interested in doing that. That's really what I want to do. And so I have to have faith that, at first I have to have an idea that it's possible. And then I have to have faith that it can be accomplished. And then I have to employ the power of my faith to accomplish it. Because if I just say, I know it will be transformed, this world will be powerfully transformed, I don't have to worry about it. Oh, God, you do it for me. It's like, what? What's the fun in that? I never liked that. I just want to be part of my own transformation. And in fact, the universe is set up in a way that I have to be. The universe is set up in a way that I have the power. I've been given the power to create the life of my choosing. And to also help others to do the same. So this is a natural flow of giving and expanding because that's the natural flow of the universe. So faith is the perceiving power of the mind, or the mind's ability to perceive that which is not yet visible and to shape that substance according to divine law. And we know we can do it because that power is within us. So faith is also this deep inner knowing that that which is sought is already ours. That's also from Charles Fillmore in The Revealing Word. That which we are seeking is already ours. And I would say already within us. It's not that I'm seeking something out there. I'm seeking to manifest something that's already within my consciousness. It's within me. I want to see that which is within me manifest in the world. It's going to be anyway. So if you look around at the world as an outward picture of an outward projection of an inward condition, oh my goodness. Sometimes I think, what's going on in there? Because what's going on out there ain't looking too good. But I want it to take on the qualities of my inner peace, my relationship with the universe, and the relationship I have with divine love. And so I set about looking for that. And I see it. I see it now when I look out at you. I see it manifest everywhere I go. I also see the world that is born of separation, and I can say, that's not the world that I live in. That's not the world that I want. And so the world will be powerfully transformed to a singular reality if we have a singular vision and employ the power of faith to manifest that vision. We have to be strong in that. We have to resist not evil, yet point out that evil does not exist. Oh my goodness, don't say that. You're going to be kicked out of the church now. Evil doesn't exist. Our whole existence depends on evil. Our whole existence, our whole idea of God depends on an evil force, a devil. If I don't have a devil, why do I need a God? Right? You need two forces fighting with each other. What if there's only love? What if God is love and only love? See, now I'm testing your faith. Now I'm putting it to good use. Now I'm giving you the opportunity to put your faith to good use. God is love and only love. All that other stuff is your invention, and it's time to let it go. And no one can let it go for you. That's what I found out. If I want to look for evidence of separation and evil and the devil or whatever, I'm going to find it. Absolutely. Because there are a lot of human beings, reflections of yourself, who insist that that is reality. And it is up to us as spiritual beings to say, I think I have a better version of reality that's being revealed to me through faith. Why don't you come over here and check that out? Why don't we try that on for a little while? Walk in those shoes. Just keep moving in a positive direction and let all that other stuff fall away. And of course, when it's in your face, just refuse to accept it and say, I'm sorry. That's not for me. No thanks. That's not my truth. That's not where I live. That's not my consciousness. My consciousness is one of singular love, and that's the reality of the God that I know, the loving source of all life. That's the Spirit that I know, that takes care of me, that loves me, and that loves you too. If you just let go of your story for a moment of separation, let go of that story of separation for one moment and have faith that there's another reality, or employ your power of faith to see that other reality. Because it's not just having blind faith in some force or some reality outside of you. It's employing your intrinsic power to see the spiritual reality. You can do it. You must do it. Or you'll be stuck thinking that this whole separate condition is reality and is real. And you'll be fighting that for lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. But it's time for us to evolve spiritually. This is the lifetime that you're going to decide that God is love and only love. Right? See? That's what they say in Spanish. Claro, por supuesto. Of course, yes. Come on, you guys. All right. Yes, we need a little excitement about this. You're really scared to step out. Oh, I got to stay in separation. I like it here. There's the evil guys out there, and I'm the good guy. No, it's a projection of an inward condition. Oh my God, I'm not comfortable now. The world I see is a projection of my mind. That makes me very uncomfortable. Good. That's a good place to be, because now I need faith. I need to employ a power that's greater than my limited perceptions. Right? I got to rely on faith. I got to step out on that bridge even though I only see the first step. I don't see the whole staircase. I can't see the whole bridge, but I have to know that it's there when I need it. But if I never step out on it, it will never appear for me. That's what I learned. If I never step out on that bridge, the bridge will not exist. Oh my goodness. So let's go to some truth about this. From Hebrews 11:1, faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Now in the King James Version it says it's the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So I like to use both translations. This is the one they use in Unity, the NRSV. And I like that because the assurance means I know it's true. Brings it back home. It is, yes, it's a substance, but substance tends to be put outside of you. Assurance is something I can do. It's more like I'm assuring myself. It's a verb. It's an action to assure you that the things you hope for are already yours. The conviction within me. Not just the evidence outside of me, but the conviction within my heart that it's true. And I love this. This is in the Bible, you guys. That through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the Word of God, so that the things which are seen are made of things that are not visible. Quantum science right there in Hebrews. In the New Testament, 2,000 years ago, they had an inkling of what actually was going on. And we see it to be true, that the worlds are made by the Word of God. Or the thought in the mind. You see, it's like the third principle of unity. Everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. Everything. The worlds were made by the thoughts of God, or not God being outside of us, but God as pure universal thought. Thought being energetic expression, extension, expansion of that spiritual energy that we were talking about. Not the subsequent definition in words of the things that we're looking at. Because the things we're looking at are already thoughts. Those are already thoughts. Everything in the manifest realm had and has its beginning in thought. So I love that we understand, only through faith do we understand that the worlds were made by the universal extension of spiritual energy. Otherwise called the Word of God. You think the Word of God is something written down in a book? In English? Or any other language? It's vibration. It's frequencies of vibration that are able to frame in and manifest the spiritual substance according to what? Your will. According to your will. It's not just happening for no reason at all. We often think everything that's happening, it's all happening to me. That's not a very practical or powerful position to take. That the world is just happening. I prefer the world as a projection of my mind, that I am producing what I see from an inward condition, because then I can go within and work on that. I can go within and improve all of my spiritual powers. I can improve my power of faith. I can improve and work on and be creative and practice the fine art of these spiritual powers. How wonderful and how beautiful is our assignment to see a world powerfully transformed. It's amazing, the growing movement of our spiritual awakening. But then we use our spiritual powers. And we know and we have faith that it works every time. That's the coolest part about it all. It works every single time. I just love it. So everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. So faith, for me, is the active ingredient in this non-visible recipe. Faith is the active ingredient that makes it all work. So in order to make manifest my world according to divine law, I have to employ this power, the spiritual power of faith. I must put into action my inherent ability to shape substance through the power of my mind. I also have another power related to faith, as Fillmore describes it, and that's the perceiving power of the mind. But this is not limited perception, as we generally use as human beings. We use limited perception that is based on our time mind. This is unlimited, what the Course in Miracles calls true perception. It's the ability to perceive oneness and goodness and perfection and healing, and to see the big picture, the spiritual picture. The Course in Miracles calls it true perception or right-mindedness. You're in your right mind, the God mind. So true perception is a means by which the world is saved from sin. For sin does not exist. And that's what true perception sees. True perception sees there is no sin. True perception sees there's nothing to forgive in truth. True perception sees God is love and only love, that we are love and only love. True perception sees that we are eternal. So what are some of the other things true perception sees? True perception sees there is only love. And we sing that song quite often, and I think we should sing it more often because we need to believe it. That's the reminder that brings me back to reality. There is only love. Life is eternal. These are all the things that true perception sees. That there is no death. There is no death. Life is eternal. We are transitioning from one state of aliveness to another constantly. It's unfolding. We are evolving. We are expanding our consciousness. When we don't need to come back in a body form anymore, then we won't. If we do, we'll reincarnate again and try it again. And we'll do it in a different way. But we'll still have the same goal to be a unique expression of the fullness of love in this lifetime so that I can move on. So don't think if somebody has moved on that anything has gone wrong. It was just a decision that their soul has made, that this is my time to move on. So life is eternal and there is no death. True perception sees that. True perception sees that we are spiritual beings and that we are all spiritual beings, no matter what we are presenting to the world through our ego. We are all spiritual beings. And all is one. When you're seeing in true perception, you really do experience that all is one. And I invite each and every one of us to meditate on that this week, of our connection, of our oneness. Not just with the ones that we love or that love us, but with everyone. And with all of nature. As Einstein would say, to increase our circle of compassion to include all of nature and its beauty. And true perception is going to see that there is no separation. It never actually happened. It's an idea that we keep attempting to teach ourselves. And it's just not true. And true perception will show you that I only keep what I give away. It will also show you that I am entitled to miracles each and every day. And I am the light. I am the light of the world. Guess what? I am the universe. That's probably the last thing true perception will show you before you actually let go of your separate identity and remember, you really are the universe. You really are the universe. You don't need to search for it anymore because it's within you. The drop of water is the ocean. You are the universe. You are the light. You are everything there is. You are the love of God. And all I would say is have the faith, employ the power of your faith to be the love of God in action. Today and every day. Be the love of God in action. Practice the fine art of faith, my friends. Be blessed, and remember to be a blessing. We love you.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass., and visit us online at unityoncapecod.org. This video was made possible in part through a grant from Unity Worldwide Ministries and the Templeton Foundation.